review for an upcoming album by a band called, well, they're from Ireland and they call themselves Fuckhammer. Listen, I'm 41. I've seen my fair share of stuff. Just like you probably, I'm still always gonna laugh about a band with a name like this. But let me tell you something, man. These guys fucking rock, alright? They are awesome. Now, just for a moment, please put aside, if you can, all the funny stuff about the name and their songs, which some of them I just can't say. I mean, one of them's called Jenkum. But I'll get to all that stuff in a second. Here's the lowdown on the music, and there's a lot of cool shit about them. They are a death metal band, sure, but what kind? I'm not entirely sure if it's fair to call them straight death and roll, and there's a very specific reason why. Which is, I feel like a lot of times with bands that play that style, any N-roll, thrash and roll, black and roll, it's because that's exactly what they set out to do. Which is fine, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I think there's anything wrong with that at all. Because in fact, I actually prefer whatever and roll over a lot of straight styles, I do. But when you can kind of suspect that a band's doing something that's real natural to them, as if to say it's effortless, it makes the experience seem all the more real and thus fulfilling, I think. And the reason I hesitate to label Hammer as straight up death and roll is because there's lots of times when it isn't really. It'll be blasty or even death doomy, but the blast and doom parts somehow still do rock at the same time, if that makes sense. Or it'll be somewhere in the middle and just disgusting. An example? Hey, why not Born of the Ass off their debut in 2011, the Hammered to Fuck EP. That's a really cool name for an album given the title of the band, I think. But Born of the Ass is a real sleazy sounding, like, yeah, just a real gross sounding death metal kind of thing before the next song, Drone, which, there you go, that's some straight up death and roll. That's perfect for a bunch of assholes in a circle pit, like probably puking everywhere and not giving a shit and just keep right on dancing. Now, Hillbillies right after it, once again, extremely death and roll, almost not even death, because it sounds very like southern, kind of COC, stoner rock ripping, but still death metal heavy, so to speak. It's probably my favorite song on the album. Now, a note on the vocals. They remind me a lot of somebody like Sean from Impaled. It's that sort of thing. Some kind of fucking like rabid animal that's gonna bite your face off or something. But further through Hammer's discography, this will change slightly into something I'll bring up in a minute, and it's cool. 2016, let us not ignore the Hammering Thy Fucking Grave EP. Another awesome title, I mean that. This is where you first start to notice a slight change in vocal style. Not the sound of it, but rather how the words, like, I have no fucking idea what this dude's saying, man. I couldn't even begin to tell you. But what I mean is, you know, somebody like Mike 9 from I Hate God, he's just fucking throwing his lyrics at you, man. He does not give a shit. Pronunciation can fuck off. Enunciation can go straight to hell. Fuck it all. Regurgitate ad infinitum is the song song, I guess, that kicks it off. And like, here we have a real great demonstration of the band's attitude, I'm gonna guess. And the attitude, probably not a struggle to imagine. Yep, you guessed it. They don't give a shit. It's almost as if they play their parts according to what they feel based on like what they ate an hour before and how it's processing in their stomachs. Like sometimes it'll be sort of slow and heavy and then the carbs turn into glycogen, so stuff will pick up and then there's a crash. So in that regard, their songs are pretty well varied and you never get bored. You wanna know something funny about this album? The first proper song's called Asphyxy Fury, A-S-P-H-Y-X-Y. I don't even know what that word is, but I'm just surprised it's not called like Asphyx, A-S-S. And the other one after that's called Sanctimonious with Evacuate the Bowels in parentheses. Pretty funny. Oh, and then it finishes with Self-Absorbed, Self-Absolved. That's a funny song name too. But yeah, so this album, the one after it, Canceled to Fuck, then the first full length just titled Fucked. Seriously great music, man. Like actually well-written heavy metal. It's fun to listen to and catchy and never boring or repetitive because they mix everything up real nicely, like rockin' parts, blasty parts, stuff that transitions real seamlessly into slow stuff when the digestion's at its peak, and just Fuckhammer's a very good band, man. And I gotta tell you something on a personal note before I get into the new album. I kind of feel like as an individual, I really relate with these guys. I mean, they call themselves Fuckhammer, they got songs called Jenkum, all that stuff they probably laugh their asses off over, but the thing that's most meaningful is like fuck. You take a look at that promo pic, and these dudes are just that. Motherfuck! All that stuff they probably laugh their asses off over, but the thing that's most meaningful is like, you take a look at the promo pic, and these dudes are just that. They're dudes. Like, they're not kids trying to be funny, they're just being themselves and acting immaturely for grown men, I guess, and as a person, that's me. You ask any of the chicks I've ever dated where the relationship went to hell, and they'll probably all tell you the same thing. Oh, it's because you refused to grow up. Whatever. Ah, see, there you go. To hell with accountability. But no, all my exes are sweethearts, man. I mean that. So yeah, alright, here's the thing about the new album, Scorched Earth Prophets, out August 9th. I'm guessing independently released. I'm not gonna say a whole lot about it. It's an awesome album, no question. A lot of very strong songs. And I'm gonna make a clear distinction in a second, but overall, it's pretty early 2000s death metal. Like if you like the Litany album, Vader, or Infernal Storm, Incantation, or yeah, maybe Slaughter Cult Exhumed, maybe not so much Exhumed, but what I mean is this. Scorched Earth Prophets is a little more, slightly, a smidgen technical early 2000s. I'm not talking like Black Seeds of Vengeance, Nile technical. I just mean that the guitar work is a bit more put together and intricate than anything Hammer's put out before. The identity I'm trying to paint here is like, switch the genre for a second. We're gonna call some bands fun and some serious. No Redeeming Social Value is fun. They're a fun-sounding hardcore band. Scarhead and Agnostic Front, they're fun. Hatebreed, on the other hand, writes serious songs, and All Out War does too. Impaled and Exhumed are fun. Alright, yeah, so back to the death metal. Hate Eternal and Nile are serious. Like, there ain't no fun songs anywhere on Conquering the Throne or Amongst the Catacombs. Gore metal, Slaughter Cult, Dead Shall Dead Remain, fun stuff all over those albums. This is just a little more serious than Cancelled and Grave or the full length, and that's demonstrated pretty largely, not exclusively, but a very fair amount in songs that have lots of sludgy parts like Impartial Agenda or the title track, or even some of the faster ones like Unmerciful Sisters, but that's even still kind of mid-paced sometimes. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, again, this album's extremely well varied. Like, it's not just start to finish grind and blast beats. The riffs are really easily discernible. Unlike, say, Mortician, this is still very riffy. It's just that the riffs aren't as colorful as a song like Hillbillies or Drone on their debut. So, hey, want a surface level band to compare it to? If you like Pantera, Fuckhammer's earlier stuff was Cowboys from Hell, and this is far beyond Driven and Trendkill, but death metal. But it's honestly very good, and it's clear they really went to work on creating not just some shit album, because like, the first song, the title track, I could see being a great opener live, because it's just real heavy and stompy and sort of on the slower side, but there's parts with this really cool double bass that help drive it, and like, that's an awesome song. And Wrath of the Cyans right after it, more blasty and abusive, but with a few small rockin' parts throughout. Crisis Generator might be my favorite song. It's like pretty hookish, the main riff. So yeah, dude, if you like a lot of the albums I mentioned above, inject a little death and roll, though not as much as their other stuff, and I promise you, you're gonna be very pleased with Scorched Earth Prophets. But you just gotta listen to it on August 9th. Fucking A, man. And with that, you psychopaths, I am out of here, man. I'm done. So if you did like this video, cool. Maybe you can give it a thumbs up. Or if you just like hearing somebody bullshit about heavy metal, you are warmly invited to throw a fucking hammer right at that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time on Concrete Spew. But until then, keep hammering away, you psychopaths.